asking in 2023 as Bosanski takes on Sullivan. Time first for the bronze medal match. And here come the two contenders for a place on the podium in Antalya. Let's go and find out who they are.
On target number 1, representing Malaysia, Juwaidi Mazuki. On target number 2, representing Netherlands, Mike Schloesser. And the live judge for this match is Cedar.
So here we go. Juwaidi Mazuki is the one, number 61, or he certainly was the Malaysian coming into this tournament. And he's 32 years old. Taking on Mike Schloesser from the Netherlands, the world number 1 at 29 years old. Having a few issues, but he knows what it means to get on a podium at a World Cup stage. Does Mazuki have too much, perhaps?
Maybe, but what we have seen is the last 3 arrows of Mikey's last match were the most convincing 3 of the 15 that he shot. So maybe he can just accept his loss and go on with the last end.
So Mike Schloesser starts the compound men's individual bronze medal match, and he's clearly disappointed with that 9, making a change to his sight.
And although Mazuki is shooting against Mr. Perfect, he is actually the one this week shooting 2 150s back-to-back in the elimination rounds. So he is very capable of shooting a very high final round. So good recovery. His first 9 he was definitely not happy with, but then he shoots through 2 really good shots after that.
Perfect start from Mazuki from Malaysia. Fancy he's going to have to keep that level pretty high because, as you say, disappointing 9, but immediate change from Schloesser for the second 2 arrows.
Yeah, and it seems like he's in a different frame of mind now than he was in the previous match as well. I don't know what it is, but yeah, there's definitely something that changed throughout the course of last match.
Looking just so much more relaxed.
Yeah, that too, yeah.
Well, can't take it away from Mazuki. 2 X's and a 10 for that perfect score. And there's not much more you can do than put down a perfect score.
Yeah, exactly. If he just keeps doing this, then Mikey has no chance, obviously. But yeah.
And like you say, he's done it twice before in the knockout stages.
Exactly, yeah. So, yeah, I wouldn't count him out just yet.
Ever so slightly different on the finals range, though, isn't it?
It is, but we have seen 150s on the finals range before. I remember, was it the World Cup final last year where it was just raining down on him.
So Schloesser starting in number 2, just 1 behind, but that's the 3rd 10 in a row.
I was going to mention how long that shot took, and I think it doesn't matter too much to him if his shot takes a little longer, but there is limits to how long you want to have your shot take.
Well, Mazuki followed the pattern that he shot in the semi-final against Bosanski, 3 10s to start with and then a 9, and he followed that up with 4 10s afterwards.
10. Perfect score.
He's looking more like the Mike we know now.
Another 10 from Mazuki.
Well, dropping his first points, Mazuki finds himself on the same score now as Mike Schloesser. And again, that pattern that we saw in the first semi-final is being followed by Mazuki at the moment. 10-10-10 through the first end, dropping a point at the beginning of the second, coming back with 4 10s in a row.
Yeah. But I wouldn't necessarily expect him to shoot another 8 in this round.
And that's what followed the 4 10s, is where Chef's going. Yeah, and he needs to keep that standard up. As we said right at the beginning, that 3 10's great start. That's just what you want. But Mikey's showing that, well, as you say, it's kind of normal order restored.
Yeah, so the question is always, can he keep this up until the end of the match? As it would be with any other person, but maybe more so with Mikey. But I think if they just keep close to each other, we're going to get a great match.
Well, the bar has been set very high in the compound disciplines so far here in Antalya. Perhaps the highest scoring compound competition so far on the circuit, if we can rely on Chef Vandenberg's computer-like brain. And that standard is continuing to be high here in the compound men's bronze medal match, all square between Schloesser and Mazuki.
That was really quick, but I think he realized that as soon as it went off.
Mentioned it earlier on, that recovery and not dwelling on a bad shot. Schloesser immediately started thinking about the next one.
Yeah, and he acknowledges the fact that it hit low because it just went off low, which is an important part of it. So acknowledgement, acceptance, and no judgment. I think if you get those 3 things in order, then that's a very good first base for a mental performance.
Mazuki, by contrast, just has to keep nailing the 10s. Not worry about what Schlosser's doing. Another 29 for him.
That's a 10-9 lineup.
Yeah, did catch the line, so a good group, just a bit low and a bit left, but he is adjusting his sight right now.
Yeah, making that adjustment in the background with the blue shirt on. Schlosser, though, staying nice and relaxed, shot another 29 himself, but didn't kick himself, didn't beat himself up after that first 9, and looking very relaxed right now.
Yeah, I wanted to say that's the secret to archery success. That's not really a secret. If you look at most really high-level archers, you'll see that they know how to deal with bad arrows, and they know not to get angry, because the adrenaline doesn't help you. The adrenaline and the cortisol that you make in your head by getting mad about an arrow, you cannot really use that for anything. Whereas if you're in a very physical sport, you can use that adrenaline to have a burst of energy. Here you need to stay focused, you need to stay relaxed. So it's a bit of a different mental approach than most sports.
Time for end number 4 of the compound men's bronze medal match between Schloesser and Mazuki. Schloesser trailing, shoots first.
long hold again. Yeah. So I feel like there's a threshold for him where he can hold it a little bit longer, but if it's too long of a hold, he just starts spraying and doesn't hit the middle anymore. The easy solution would be just shoot faster, but there's a reason that he's holding it for that long. There's a reason that the shot doesn't go off. So, sitting on the couch looking at the screen, it's like, why don't you just shoot it faster? But there's probably a very good reason for him to hold it a bit longer, and if he just forces it to go faster, then that doesn't really help anyways. So he needs to go to the root of the problem.
Mr. Perfect goes perfect to keep the pressure on. A 10 required to stay level. Another nervy long hold, and this one, well, I hate to say it, but it's right on a knife edge. I can't call who's going to win this.
Yeah, that would be very strange, and it would be a very, useful skill to have. But yeah, if you
haven't mastered clairvoyancy just yet.
Yeah.
No, but the point I'm making is that Schloesser's had an up and down moment in the match already.
Yeah.
He seems to be shooting okay, but he's had at least one arrow a little stray.
Here you can see the marking of the arrows towards the X. Sorry for interrupting you.
No, good point. We were talking about it earlier on. There's nothing in particular from Mazuki that we're seeing, though, that suggests he's going to do anything, make any big mistakes.
No, the only thing that he needs to be wary of is to not try to be too perfectionist, not try to be too perfect, because that will make him shoot longer shots, and that will actually, be counterproductive and make him shoot less points. So for Mazuki, I would say, have some faith in your shot, rely on your training, and try to keep up the rhythm. Don't try to do more than your best, because that will not result in hitting the middle.
Well, nothing between them going into the fifth end, and Mike Schloesser drills it into the centre of the target again. And the pressure switches back. Felt like he held on to that a bit longer than normal, but produced another 10. Are they going to treat us to another shoot-off here, both finishing with perfect scores? There was a big flinch at the end of that one, and the door is open. A 9 required for the bronze medal for Mazuki. And he puts it into the 10 to finish with a perfect score and a 148, dropping just 2 points throughout the whole match and beating Mike Schloesser onto the podium, 148 to 146. Great performance, solid throughout from Juwaidi Mazuki. He's definitely earned this bronze medal.